Hey, did you ever get just what you wanted? It turned out just the way you expected. It was exactly what you were looking for, and then afterwards you were like, oh, that wasn't so great. We're going to think about that today on Now What Devotions from Trinity Lutheran here in Cyrus. So some years ago, I was a youth director up in a large church up north. And at the time, I was leading a lot of worship services, music for worship services. And we had a small group band that I'd kind of put together, and we were doing this a lot. And my guitar just was not up to snuff, so I looked for a scratch and dent model, and I picked it up, and it was this, you can see it over here. It's the lighter colored one of the two there. Yep, I thought it was scratch and dent. And, I played that guitar for years. It was probably the first big boy grown-up guitar I had, and really thought the world of it. But the funny thing is, because I played acoustic, there was a lot of guitar learning that I didn't do. And nowadays, I've been building guitars this last year or two, and I've discovered how limiting a certain kind of guitar can be. And I kind of thought, God, I wish I'd been a little more creative back then. I wish I'd been a little braver about it, or thought a little bit more about it. Because now, I needed a different, this one is not working anymore. It's got some problems. And as a guy who fixes guitars, I'm very picky about it now. And so I found a new one that I've been using, and it's great, but it has some of the same problems. And I'm learning, well, those problems are that's a problem of construction when it comes to a guitar. And I thought I had it all figured out. I studied and I researched, and it turns out I got what I wanted, but maybe what I wanted wasn't the right thing. That is something Jesus talks about today. We're talking about the Beatitudes. We're in chapter 6 of the book of Luke. And he has some pretty fascinating things to say. So Jesus has just named 12 of his disciples now as apostles. He said, you 12, I really want to spend time with you guys. And he's been preaching to a large group of people, and he's preaching to them, and he heals a bunch of folks, and power's just rolling off him like heat waves in the summer, right? And everybody's coming to see him, and he turns and he says to his disciples, hey guys, he says, you're blessed when you've lost it all. God's kingdom is right there for the finding. That's the Message paraphrase version of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor, for they shall inherit the earth. You're blessed when you've lost it all, because God's kingdom is right there for you to see. And the opposite side of that is, it's trouble for you if you think you've got it made. Because what you have, that's all you'll ever get. In other words, if worldly wealth and stuff and what you think you want and need satisfies you, I guess that's fine, but it shouldn't. It's not enough. And it'll never be enough. And ultimately, the kingdom is so much bigger than those things you thought would satisfy you. Yeah, you get the newer guitar and it plays great until it doesn't, or you replace the water heater and finally that dumb thing doesn't gurgle anymore until it does. Things and stuff and all of the things that we crave, they won't satisfy in the long run. I think one of my favorite ways that Eugene Peterson works this Beatitudes text, it's Luke 6. Check it out in the Message. And I think I've mentioned that to y'all before. It's a really good paraphrase of this section. But he says, it's trouble ahead for you. This is one of the woe to yous. It's trouble ahead for you if you're satisfied for yourself. Yourself will not satisfy you for long. Boy, isn't that the truth, right? Ourselves, the more we get to know each other, the further we go down the path of faith, the more we are aware of the darkness that sits in our hearts along with the light, the more we realize we probably aren't enough. We probably won't be good enough. And God's forgiveness is indeed what we need. We need a Savior. I encourage you to think about that this week. Are there times where you've just craved a change? You've wanted someone to remove this grief, except if you didn't grieve, did you love? Or you've wanted someone to remove this pain, but without pain, how do we know what goodness is? Or you've finally got everything you want and you discover it isn't what you need. Jesus points out that God's kingdom is what satisfies. And we need a Savior who loves us enough to let us know that and remind us of that and call us back to it. I'm Pastor Chris from Trinity Lutheran in Cyrus. Signing off for now. I'll see you on Sunday, where we'll talk a little bit more about these Beatitudes in Luke chapter 6. Bye-bye for now.